You've heard the fight. Christian nationalists are accused of using faith to seize power and privilege. And the progressive Christian left, led by voices like Tim Whitaker and Ajoy, counters with calls for justice and pluralism. But here's the paradox. Both movements are fundamentally trying to use the state power to enforce their theology. The Christian nationalist wants the state to affirm their truth. The progressive left wants the state to enforce their morality. When one side wins, the other side loses their moral freedom. We're diving into the pluralism paradox and offering a new way, but is actually an old way, a truly biblical, principled solution that delegates responsibility where it belongs, to the church, the family, and the limited but morally bound state. The progressive Christian argument is that they seek a pluralistic democracy where no single faith is privileged. They use love your neighbor as the ethical mandate for policies like universal healthcare or LGBTQ+ affirmation. But this is the paradox. When they successfully turn their Christian ethic of compassion into a coercive state law, they strip moral freedom from the traditional Christians who disagree with their policy application. If the law forces a Christian business owner to affirm a practice that they believe is harmful, that owner becomes a second-class citizen forced to violate their conscience or face legal action. They fought Christian nationalism's use of coercion for, say, prayer in school, only to install a new coercion for affirmation. The state still oversteps, only the theology being enforced changes. The core failure of both Christian nationalism and progressive Christian policy is that they confuse the roles of the church, the family, and the state. They tried to turn the state into the ultimate vehicle for achieving all forms of justice, which the Bible never grants it. Our biblically principled solution starts with two questions. Question number one, what is the biblical moral good? i.e., caring for the poor, defining marriage. Now, question number two, what institution is primarily called to carry out this moral good? If the moral good is redemption and discipleship, that belongs to the church. If it's generational nurturing and covenantal love, that belongs to the family. The state's role, according to Romans 13, is the sword, maintaining order, punishing evil, and protecting property and life. It's a minimal but morally bound role. This is where we separate responsibility. Justice for the poor. This is a call to the church and the family through charity, tithing, and hospitality. Christian nationalism and progressive Christian policies often demand that the state replace the church and family here, leading to massive bureaucracy and coercion. We must push back and use our institutions. Defining marriage. This is a crucial area of distinction. The state's function is not neutral. It is divinely ordained to promote the fundamental good that forms society. Therefore, the state has a moral duty to codify and promote traditional marriage, a one-man, one-woman marriage, as a legal category. This means that while the state actively promotes the biblical definition of marriage, the church must remain the final authority on spiritual matters. The state does its duty, and the church does its duty. We argue for institutional freedom. Both Christian nationalism and progressive Christian politics offer the pluralistic paradox. They seek to replace one form of state-enforced morality with another, always marginalizing the other side. The biblical answer is to argue for the state to exercise its limits, but morally defined, right? The role of the sword in areas like marriage, and is to unleash the church and the family to carry out the vast majority of Christ's ethical mandate. We need biblical categories for our institutions, not just political power. Is the solution too messy? But does the state have a moral duty beyond just protection? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to reclaim a biblical framework for politics.